back to the United Star, and today is a really important game because Prasham, if we win this, we go second, and with the game in hand, winning that would take us 3 points clear of second of third position. So let's straight get into it. What's your take on how the league table is forming out, and how important is this game for the club?
So, Vishesh, you can almost think of it this way that this has now become a top seven game sort of. Leicester are now very much in the hunt to, challenge for the top four. They've been last year they were pushing they were pushing Man City and Liverpool both, but then dropped out. And this year as well, they look like a fairly consistent team given how inconsistent the season has been. So obviously, this is a very important game from that perspective. And if we win it, like you said, not only do we go second, but you can think of it as a 6 point game. This creates 3 points for us in a 3 point gap to Leicester City because Chelsea are we have a fair distance between Chelsea and us. We have a fair distance between Spurs and us, considering that we have one game in hand as well. So if we win this game, we put a fair distance between us and Leicester as well. A draw would not be a bad result because we would maintain the points difference, but a loss would be a 6 point swing to the other way. And then you have to consider Leicester as again being sort of the ones who can sort of challenge Liverpool for that title. But it'd rather be us than Leicester because we might actually be able to be in the race, like you've been saying. So I think it's definitely a very important game, and I hope we approach it with that perspective.
I think you're completely right when you say that. I think to win this game and then the game in Jan against Liverpool would be very important and could probably be a title decider, even though it may be slightly early to say stuff like this. But Prashant, getting to the fact that um, you spoke about this before, that there were 5 games. If we got 13 points of that lot, it's a good run, and we did manage to get the 13. So now going into this last last stretch of fixtures where we're playing the likes of Wolves, Leicester, and I don't know who we play on New Year's, but these 3 teams back to back. What kind of target would you set for this club? Do you think they've proven it to the fans that 9 out of 9 is what we expect?
So before we play Liverpool in the league, we have the next 3 games are like you said, Leicester Wolves, and then we play Aston Villa on the return of the year. So these games are important, obviously. We know what we're going to expect, right? From Leicester, we know what we're going to get. It's going to be that counter-attacking game where they're going to hit Vardy. With Wolves, we know it's going to be a defensive game where they will sort of try to hit on the counter. I don't know if Raul Jimenez will be fit by then. But I think the Villa game is another important game because remember, Aston Villa have 2 games in hand. And if they win both those games, they are just 2 points off Liverpool as well. So if we are title challengers, by that respect, Aston Villa are also in the title race. Well, I'm just kidding. But yeah, from these 3 games, 9 points. To be fair, I think we'll get, if we get about seven, I'll be happy. I do see a draw in one of these games at least. So I'd be happy. Last time I said we'll get 12 out of 15, we got 13, so we outperformed it. This time, if I'm saying 7 out of 9, I don't expect us to lose any game. So if we get 9 out of 9, then we're definitely well and truly in the race. But we need to keep it up. And I think the most important thing is going to be squad rotation.
I think you're spot on, and I think the next 3 consecutive games are just Premier League. So it's time for us to focus solely on that, and after that, go into the likes of the Watford for the FA Cup, and then Manchester City for the EFL. But Prashant, we've spoken about this. There have been few injuries to the squad. Van Bissaka didn't play. Lindelof is back. He publicly came out and said, "We know how Leicester are. We know the likes of Vardy making those runs, and Thielsman providing or Madison with a shot from outside." So,
Mm.
how do you see us lining up for this game?
So Vishesh, I think Van Bissaka will be back for this one because I think Oli had said that it is not a major injury and it's more precautionary. So I think Van Bissaka will be back. I think Lindelof will also be back. I do not see Eric Bailly starting again. I don't think he had a good game. So I think Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, and I think Luke Shaw will play for about 60-65 minutes and or maybe 70 minutes, and then maybe Telles will come on because I feel Shaw is not fit to play the 90. So that will be I think the four we'll play with. In the midfield, I am hoping Fred and Pogba start along with Bruno, of course. I mean Bruno, obviously. So Fred and Pogba because I don't know if McTominay is fit enough, and I mean I'd rather sort of have him 100% because it's a groin injury and it can escalate. So I want Pogba and Fred to start as well because I feel that Tillemans and Ndidi are sort of physical and Pogba can pass through the lines, through the channel. So I think that could be an advantage for us. Up front, ideally, I'd want to see Martial, Cavani, and Rashford, but that's not going to happen since Cavani's obviously played the 90 against Everton in midweek. So I think Rashford and Martial will definitely start, and I think Mason Greenwood will play. Also, it will be interesting to see if Juan Mata is fit. I think if he's fit, then he might drop into that right mid place because I thought midweek he was the one who was going to start, but because of his knock he took before training, I think he couldn't. So I think he may start, but otherwise, I think Rashford, Martial, Mason might keep their place as our front three.
And I'm guessing De Gea and goal. We aren't
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
for the De Gea Henderson
No, no, no.
conversation.
Obviously, David De Gea and goal. I mean, to be fair, Henderson has not inspired much confidence in the time he's been here. And I'm fine with that. I think it's a learning curve. I think we all said it before the season, right? That David De Gea, when David De Gea came to Man United, he made so many mistakes. He picked himself up and he grew. The same way Dean Henderson was first choice for Sheffield. Coming to United, the pressures are different. He's going to make mistakes. That learning curve is going to be there. But for this game, definitely David De Gea.
So, Prasham, just we know how Leicester play, right? We've had some big games against them. We all remember the decisive last weekend game. What do you see them doing to us? How do you see them taking on United or sitting back and playing?
No, I mean it's see, I think a lot of focus in that Leicester team goes on Jamie Vardy. And rightly so. He's a phenomenon. He's a phenomenon. I mean, what Jamie Vardy does, very few people can do. I mean, he's fantastic, he's direct, he's physical, he's hard hitting. He's going to be a handful for Maguire and Lindelof or whoever starts with Maguire. But where I think the game for where Leicester are so successful is with Tillemans and Ndidi. I already mentioned them before. I think that is one of the most underrated central midfield partnerships in the Premier League. So how our midfield holds them, how our midfield is able to counter them, I think that will play a very important role. Then there are the likes of Iosi Perez, Madison, as you said, Harvey Barnes, who are the creative players. But these players are like moment players. They will get one moment and they'll try to capitalize on that. They are not very consistent players throughout the 90 minutes. Who are the consistent players who will keep coming at you throughout the 90 minutes? It is Ndidi, Tillemans, and Vardy. I mean, I don't think I need to say much about Vardy. We know what he's going to do. He's going to try running in behind our defenders. Our defenders aren't the fastest on the turn. We know that. So, I mean, Vardy could feast on that. So, to counter that, I think the positioning will be very important. I hope we don't play a high line. I think we need to play a very compact game and keep Vardy in check. Two-man defense on Vardy will be needed because let's face it, he's their only real goal threat unless Madison tries to a worldie and it comes off. So that's that. What another player that I want to point out who I think is having a phenomenal season is Wesley Fofana in defense. He's I think 19 or 20 years old and he has been absolutely brilliant at centre back. So how Martial and Rashford go at him will be interesting because Johnny Evans obviously doesn't have the pace. So I think we can target him if we can take Fofana out of the game. So these are the few players. I think Leicester's team. I think too much focus goes on Vardy, and again, like rightly so, he is an absolutely brilliant player. I mean, if he gets a chance, it's going to be very hard to save that. You know it. So we need to contain him, but we need to keep an eye on Tillemans and Ndidi because they are the sort of engine of the team.
I agree with you, Prasham, when we're talking about Vardy being the main focus. But there's not much to say about this Leicester side because they're a good side. They are one of the ones that challenge for the top four, and everyone knows the qualities that they have and the players that they have. And we've been seeing how players have been leaving them and been doing very well. For example, our club captain in itself. Um, so, Prasham, let's just wrap this up. What do you think is going to be the final scoreline, and what kind of a matchup do you see if you had to pick one player from Leicester versus one player of United? Would it be their defense and our attack, or our defense and their attack?
I think the matchup. I think there are 3 or 4 matchups I want to point out. Actually, I think I'm very excited for this game because I think tactically also it will be an interesting game. Not so much in terms of the managers because you know what the managers are going to do, but in terms of the players, I think the players are very good. I think NDD versus Fred will be an interesting battle. Tillemans versus Pogba may be an interesting battle. Like I said, Martial versus Fofana, the French sort of men colliding with each other. That will be an interesting battle. And then obviously Jamie Vardy is I mean, Jamie Vardy versus the entire back four because you need an entire back four to, we'll have to keep the line constant because if he gets an inch of space, you know what he can do and he's terrifying. And the only solace for us is that we are brilliant away from home, and Vardy has been poor at home. So that's obviously going to work in our favor. In terms of matchups for us going forward, I think Bruno Fernandes, of course, the way he is able to get space between Telemans and Ndidi will also determine the game. But in terms of the predictions, Vishesh, I have a sneaky feeling that this is going to be a 2-all or a 1-all draw. I don't see, we may not be able to win this game because Leicester is not an easy team and they will try to make it hard for us. So I think they will play with a very pragmatic approach on the counter, and it I think it will be a 1-all draw or a 2-all draw.
I'm honestly, I'm expecting a game similar to the Manchester City kind of style where both teams are willing to take the draw. But I'm just hoping that we get that one opportunity, like how we did against City, where we get that one-off opportunity and we capitalize on it this time. So
Hmm.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 to Manchester United. I think it'll be a dreadful performance,
But
but
Vishesh,
we
I'll
come
tell you
away
what
with
the
the result.
difference is. In the 90 minutes, obviously Leicester will get an opportunity as well. And unlike Raheem Sterling, Leicester have got Jamie Vardy who needs just one opportunity. That's why I'm
But
more leaning towards a 1-all draw. But I agree with you in terms of it will be like a very City-esque game. I think it will be a cagey affair.
so, guys, that's about it. Let us know what you think in the comments below as to who's going to win this game. Are United in the title challenge? Ole doesn't think so, clearly, according to his presser. But we'll see you next time, guys. Until then, like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. If you do like it, please click on the thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon to get daily notifications from the United Star. Follow us on Instagram at the.United Star and we will see you soon.